Bobcats with 4 area locations in Southeast Ohio. Starting lineup supported by McDonald's. I'm loving it, and I always love these matchups between the Bobcats and Buffalo. For the 52nd time, it is game on between the blue of the Bulls and the green and white of the Bobcats. Everybody in the starting lineup, with the exception of one, averages in double figures, and the one that doesn't had a double-double the last time out, LaQuill Hartnett. Into the post, Mballa early. Boy, does he do his work, huh? 2-0 Bulls.
He's tremendous, and he does it in, frankly, light minutes because he's often in foul trouble, but he is so good. The Texas Tech transfer longer than really anyone in this league in the 5.
Born in Detroit, grew up in France, and playing here at the Convo today after he transferred from Texas Tech. Ben Roderick with a smooth little floater. He's trying to diversify his game. He is a three-point shooter for sure. He had 17 against Buffalo in the first meeting, 17 last time out, but he wants to get a little bit more twosy. Buffalo last time out won over Central Michigan 85-73. And that was their 5th win in 6 tries. And Buffalo is not a big-time three-point shooting ball club. That's Javon Graves. He has 28 threes this year. As you see, Jeff Bowles. And he's done some remarkable work for the Cats coming out of COVID, a 21-day pause. And to see the 4-game winning streak prior to that, added on to with the 2 after, pretty remarkable.
Yeah, what a hot week. And for you to come out of that stoppage and have 2 great offensive games the way you did is really, really impressive for Ohio.
Bobcats come in after the win over Eastern Michigan, 86-67. And the wins in succession over Ball State, Western Michigan, Buffalo, Central Michigan, Akron, and then Eastern Michigan. 3-game week for both ball clubs. Roderick, a big part of the win in Buffalo a couple of weeks ago. Preston inching closer to 1,000 points in his career, and a really nice step-through passing lane for LaQuill Hartnett.
Yep, early turnover for Ohio, but they've been light on that count this week.
Mballa stripped by Vanderplas, and here comes Preston. Cats get in their lanes for a Roderick rhythm 3. A little strong, but Preston had the rebound, popped out of there, and here come the Bulls on parade. Graves with a nice bouncer to Hartnett, and it's an offensive foul.
Good tempo, good attempt to push there by Segu, but you're right, getting set under there for Ohio, and it'll go the other way.
As mentioned, Hartnett, since he's been in the starting lineup, has been just a breath of fresh air for them. As you see, Jim Weitzel, just a coaching veteran and just a basketball guy from Iowa Falls, Iowa, but he spent 24 years as a head coach in the Chicagoland area at Lewis Division II and at Elmhurst and at Loyola. And you're going to see a lot of this today. The physicality, these two teams want it bad, and they play hard against each other.
Yeah, neutral zone turnovers there for Ohio, takeaway by Buffalo, foul on Roderick. But here's what happens. Buffalo turns you over in what I call the neutral zone, that hockey area where the red line would be in the middle of a hockey rink. It's the middle of the floor. Buffalo in the half-court defensively is not amazing, but they will turn you over at a very high rate, highest rate in this league, in the middle of the court.
They are number 1 in the league in three-point percentage defense. These are the top 2 scoring teams in the league. And they're top 5 in the league right now. Buffalo 5, Ohio 3. And more physical work and a jump ball, and it will go to the way of the Bobcats.
These two teams are both hyper-efficient, Russ, but Buffalo does it even more from 2, more twosy. They eschew the threes a lot. They only make 6 or 7 a game, but they get you with tempo and repetitive twos and offensive rebounding. The 6th best offensive rebounding rate team in America. Huge number.
They had over 70 paint points against Northern Illinois in their blowout win of the Huskies in DeKalb. Add on what they did at the line, they only had 13 other points from elsewhere on the floor. The Bobcats shared the sugar so well against Eastern Michigan. 30 assists on 34 made field goals. London McDay missed that 3.
Almost surprised Buffalo doesn't get to the line more with this style.
2-man game with Mballa, and he will, on cue, Robert, go to the line. They recognize where they need to catch the ball with their athleticism, don't they?
Exactly, and he can get more contact. And Mballa is a big guy, plays big minutes in the middle, only shoots 5 free throws a game. You'd think it'd be double that the way he plays.
That was a high catch, and in a really good spot in the lane for Mballa, who is 73% solid from the line. The former Texas Tech Red Raider, who was on their ball club when these Bulls played Texas Tech in the NCAA tournament a couple years ago.
They got his travel turnaround pretty quickly. Foul on BVP there, and that's going to be the issue this matchup. Who gets in foul trouble in the 4 or 5 spot on both these teams, or if they do.
Imbala's a really fun one to watch. These two teams really are probably the two of the top entertaining teams in this league. Preston, one of them, at 934 points in his career. Roderick trying to be more choosy, and he scores there on a nice drive. He's done that more, Rob, over the last couple of weeks.
No, he's decked it a ton, and that's been generally good for Ohio when it's happened. He started the season as a catch and shoot. Now he's a threat. You have to back off of him a little.
Double figures in the last 4 games. Hartnett, a real steady force now in their starting lineup, and he scores. He had a double-double last time out, the win over Central Michigan. 20 points, 10 rebounds, and he's vocal.
And that's the difference. Confidence for him to face and go to the basket. Mostly he was a rebounds put-back tip dunker guy earlier this season.
Preston had a double-double last time out with nearly so with rebounds and assists. And a turnover here for the Bobcats, one of the teams in the country that turns the ball over the least.
Yep, 3rd turnover for Ohio, and that's pretty early. 3 before the under 16. That means they're on pace for 30. That's got to slow down.
Jeff Bowles working the officiating crew early. That's Glenn Buddy Mayborg there. They've had a number of conversations probably as a player and coach.
Going back to the early 90s, absolutely. Buddy Mayborg has been in this building a zillion times.
This is David Nickelberry bringing the ball up. He started his college career at Memphis, went junior college at Trinity Valley in Texas. Jonathan Williams from Rochester. Missed that short. Preston on the rebound. One of the top rebounding guards in the country. Got in the air and wasn't rushed. Vanderplas with 1,100 points in his, or rather 1,001 points in his career. And that's Dwight Wilson. He's now 39 for his last 44 from the field.
Yeah, and Imbala didn't come and meet him. Let him have the baby hook at 7 feet pretty easily.
Bobcats up 1. Quickly Buffalo into the post again, and that's Imbala. This is going to be a really interesting battle today in the post. Wilson and Imbala.
Yep, could be a big day. He's already at 5.
Imbala last time out had 11. He had a double-double in the first meeting between these two clubs. Preston underneath the board and really didn't have anywhere to go, and a turnover. And that's mounting up early for the Bobcats. Imbala got away with the travel, but Ohio didn't get away with the goaltending attempt. And that should count to get us to the under 16 media timeout.
Yep, Roderick on the pass through there gets the goaltending call on the backside. Jeff Bowles not very happy with that. BVP avoids a second foul. Bobcats.
4 words.
Again, I don't know how long the line's going to be on the font box. I'm going to give you the shortest, most punctual thing I can.
Colin Granger checks in for the Bobcats in the post, as does Mark Sears, who is in the discussion for Freshman of the Year in the league, averaging 10 points per game.
Should be.
They're going to work in and out of Vanderplas, and Buffalo incredibly active there. Couple players have switched to the highlighter yellow shoes, including Granger and Brown. Brown, a New York native, ends up with him. Had a big 3 in Buffalo last time out. Sears tries to save the possession, doesn't, and a foul on Colin Granger. He has 5 of them to use, and in 2 starts this year, he's had 15 fouls in the winning streak. He is very, very smart, and he plays really hard. It's just going to be part of his game that he's going to foul.
Yep, just trying to create room there, moves Bertram around, and Sears had a nice rebound and an offensive board opportunity for a second shot.
Good to see Brock Bertram on the floor from Apple Valley, Minnesota. They have to manage his minutes with a foot ailment. This is his 12th game this year. He's made 9 starts. Buffalo, not a good three-point shooting team. A miss from Williams and a foul on the rebound way out long.
I think that was Imbala behind BVP, and that's going to be kind of the matchup. Who fouls out or who tries to foul the other out first. In terms of bigs, that's the deal here. Ohio cannot give up O boards to big blue line like that.
So Hartnett in and Imbala out. This is a 3-game week for both ball clubs. And so Buffalo add in the travel element. This has been 3 home games for Ohio. Sears has 7 double-figure games. And as a starter, he's 3-2. Roderick somehow turning into a 2-point shooter. He's got 6.
Yep, just worked Nickelberry there. Took him to the basket. I don't think he was expecting that to happen.
Nickelberry for three. Bangs that down. David Nickelberry now 7 for 24 from three. And Buffalo has its biggest bulge of the ball game at 4.
5 points a game guy, but a really nice piece, a 6th or 7th man off the bench in this league.
Sears evaluating. Fumbled the dribble, got it back. Ground ball to Roderick for three. Strong and Hartnett athletic for the board. They're number 13 in the country nationally in rebounding margin. And a foul coming up here against Buffalo on the drive, a player control foul. As you see, Miles Brown, who generally is in the action when he's on the floor, and Hartnett's wondering, what did he do?
He got there with his speed. Brown beat him back with his feet, but I don't think he was set. Maybe the Cats got a little bit of a call there. Yeah, he's still backing it up there at the third block on the lane, but Ohio will take the call.
You could still be moving if you've established good defensive position.
And he did that with his feet. He beat him down the court big time.
They gave the benefit of hands up and establishing a little bit. Either way, 6 fouls combined. Sears into the paint. London McDay has been a steady double-digit force for the Bobcats. Gets contact, but traveled first.
Too many turnovers for both teams. That's the 6th on Ohio moments ago, the 3rd on Buffalo. 9 turnovers in just 7 game minutes. That's a lot regardless.
Each game of the streak, he's been in double figures. Ohio's 15. 74 points, 21 rebounds. 17 against Ball State started it off. Nickelberry hit the last 3, but he goes in to scoop it home like you're ladling in some blue cheese at Duff's.
Underhanded, I like the comparison. That's strong. Much prefer that.
I'm hungry now.
Delicious.
Brown, one of the top high school scorers in New York history. Good active defense by Buffalo. Bulls on parade for a bust out, but Ohio got back defensively. Ohio's bench wants a jump ball, but this will be a foul on Ohio.
Yeah, McDay almost got there and got the held ball in midair. He knew that play. He could have tried to get in the way of it and put a stop on it. But again, what does Buffalo do? Takes the board and tries to create tempo.
So McDay's first, the team's 4th. And to the line, it's Janathan Williams. He had 26 against Ohio in Buffalo last year, averaged 11 points per game to match his number last season. He's also from Rochester, New York, as is Miles Brown. You see number 2 in white.
Again, Williams gets his stuff off of putbacks, off of transition. For a guy who scores that much, you don't run that many sets. I think Graves is kind of maybe the guy who's lost some possessions by them having fewer sets, playing a lot more tempo, a lot less setting up shooters.
Buffalo has doubled up Ohio early. Sears, kick back McDay. He can hit that, but didn't there. McDay is 22 threes this year at 27 last year. Here come the Bulls trying to go up by 10 or 11 with immediate timeout coming. 3 for Graves. He passed that up. A lot of ball fakes here for a team that doesn't hit threes accurately, but is that a pretty step through by Janathan Williams.
Worked up and over Brown there and down there to Granger, who was buried in the circle. And Jason Preston's been off the floor for a little bit. We said Ohio will be managing minutes, managing guys this week. He's been off the floor for 4 minutes.
Ohio hasn't scored in 2+. Vanderplas can't change that. This is a 13-2 Buffalo run. Here comes Graves. Silky smooth in the lane, but didn't finish. Vanderplas on the rebound. Ohio would like to get something before the immediate timeout, but another turnover. The Cats' 7th. Nickelberry runs over Vanderplas, and that's a charge and gets us to the immediate timeout.
Team straight turnovers. Ohio commits their 7th, but defense on the other end gets the ball back, Russ.
Buffalo is 7 of 12 from the field. These are the top 2 of the more entertaining ball games, regardless of outcome, that this league has seen this year. It was physical, it was active, they allowed them to play, and I'm sure both of these head coaches would appreciate that too.
Yeah, give you these two clubs, Toledo, Akron, some nights you get really entertaining TV regardless.
These are big offensive possessions here for the Bobcats with Jason Preston back on the floor. Season high for assists last time out, and many went to Dwight Wilson. And a stoppage of play because of a foul on Fagan for Buffalo. That's Trayvon Fagan. He is from Waterloo, Iowa. How did he get away from UNI? He is a Cedar Falls High School Tiger. And a 5-second violation, and that is 8 turnovers on Ohio, and not even a half for the first half of basketball.
Yeah, that's too many. You're on a 36 turnover pace, and again, anything over 18 or 20 is almost an unwinnable war. So you got to ratchet that down really fast if you're a Bobcat. Again, this is Buffalo going with now a little bit of rest, getting some of the second unit guys out there.
They had 39 two-point buckets against Northern Illinois in their win. The third team with that total or more in a game this season. Gonzaga and Rutgers, the other two. Nickelberry with the baseball pass. Williams from the foul line, short, and Preston on the rebound.
And that's fine. If you get away with them getting a possession from 17 on a challenge shot, you let them have that every time.
Vanderplas for 3, tried to sell a foul, and he got it. Didn't hit the shot, but it's going to be 3 freebies for him at the line as Fagan went out to contest.
Yeah, quick second foul on Fagan. Been on the floor 3 minutes, 2 fouls. And BVP knows Ohio needs points any which way it can.
Ben Vanderplas playing in his 82nd game. This is his 52nd start. And yeah.
Fagan arrived late, but also jumped through him. Just needed to go straight up.
And I'm sure that soon-to-be sports administration master's graduate Ben Vanderplas knew he needed to sell it a little bit.
Act, but not too much. Again, there's some upper-level practicum credits available in theatre. He's a good dude. Good dude in the clubhouse. Good dude on the court. Good to have around.
You see Janathan Williams out of the ball game for Buffalo, and Bala back in. And something that Jeff Bowles likes to see is how Vanderplas has really gotten things going here as a steadying force and as a leader, and that's what he's been. He'll come off the floor. In game 1 against Buffalo, he had just 6 points and 8 rebounds, as you see an early entry for Mason McMurray.
Mace, Preston, Wilson, Roderick, McDay out there for Ohio.
Graves brings it up. First team All-MAC last year. Back out for a 3 for Skogman. He shot that from Waukesha, Wisconsin. He's a redshirt freshman. Josh Wetzel, the radio voice of the Buffalo Bulls, says his ceiling is very high, and it's 21-11 UAB.
That's found money, a 6'10 redshirt freshman.
Preston tries to answer and can't. The Bulls are playing quite confidently now. They've got 2 threes in the first half, which is probably 2 more than Bobcat fans would like to give up. Nickelberry finds a little loose change on the floor and throws it in.
Bobcats have to steady the ship. They've missed their last 6 shots. Buffalo's hit 5 of their last 7, elevating.
Heck of a start for a team that's won the MAC tournament a bunch over the last couple of years. Wilson's a good place to go, and every time he puts it out and puts it up on the backboard, it's going to fall down. Wilson's a basketball wizard.
He's 2 for 2 with 4 points. They just denied him the ball so far. Ohio has to look to get him the ball more in sets.
He's 40 for his last 45, and Mbala did his work in the paint to rock that rim. That was a really pretty pass on a bounce as Mbala knew who was around him, the open space to the goal to slam it down.
And Ohio defense, when they were beaten, they didn't try and foul. He was already in behind him. Nothing to be gained.
Wilson again, stripped this time. Active hands. Here comes Graves to Nickelberry. And Buffalo's on a run now. Bulls have come down here on parade to Athens, and they are incredibly vocal. And on that bucket, they're trying to decide defensive foul, goaltending, or a combination of the two.
Well, it looks like foul Roderick to the floor, and then behind it, McMurray knocked it out of the cylinder. And the goaltender, the basket's going to count. The question is whether there's a foul to go as well.
Both teams going to go back to the bench here as they'll take a look.
Yeah,
we talk about the pace of play for Buffalo, and it's really amazing that they're not a three-point shooting team, but they're one of the quickest teams up the floor offensively in offensive possession time.
Well, nerd numbers, they're 7th in tempo. That means the highest number of possessions per game in this limited season. Yeah, Roderick absolutely fouled him. The ball was going in, and then Mason McMurray knocks it back out. So basket, yes. Foul, yes, I would assume. If you look at that. But they're seventh shortest possession length, which means turnovers already today. But it's weird. They get turnovers, but once you're in half court, they don't defend very well. They're 338th in the country in what's called a non-steal turnover. It's a nerd stat, but it means once you get in the half court, they let you get some shots up.
So count the bucket. An and one opportunity for Nickelberry. And nearly offensive board for Buffalo. Starters on the floor, sans Ben Roderick. Mark Sears out there for the Bobcats. This is a big offensive possession here. Bobcats down by 14. Wilson 40 for his last 45 from the field. And that is a rare miss, but great defense. Skogman down there with others for the Bulls.
Yep, Skogman stuck around, a little double hedge down, but mostly one-on-one coverage on him right now.
Graves just slipped, but was able to get out of it. Mbala for three. Bang for the Bulls. Oh, baby, what a big-time start for U at B, and that's their third first-half three. They're up 30-13.
Rare three from Mbala, about a 15% shooter from there when he rarely tries them in the course of the season. That one dropped.
Active hands and a steal. The Red Raider turned Bull, banks it up, no, but Fagan's there to follow.
Mbala taking the ball from BVP for Ohio's 10th turnover.
A lot of bounce to the Bulls here, and they keep on banging it down. Fagan lets the net fly, and look at the Bulls off the bench. They're on top by 20 in Southeast Ohio at 7:30. He's a lefty, he's a junior, and he is the number 56th ranked prospect in MLB Pipeline. He's real good, and congratulations to him on the no-hitter. First regular season no-hitter since 1996. First no-hitter for the Bobcats since Connor Sitz in 2015 at the MAC tournament. And there are going to be tons of scouts to see Rocket.
Yeah, top 60 prospect. That means early draft day status, and that's a really good outing yesterday. Ohio now in trouble, a little bit on their backs right now, and Buffalo getting all their points to the bucket. Their forwards are 12 of 13 on the game shooting the ball. It's all going in.
4 of 5 from 3. The Bobcats are 5 of 15 from the field and nary a bang in 6 attempts. Wilson working hard. Skogman did well defensively on him before. Forced to spin. McDay there to pick up the trash, and he'll go to the line. London McDay does the McDirty work. He's been a glue guy on a lot of possessions, offensively and defensively for Ohio, and he'll go to the line again.
Yep, he's always in the right spot, can bail you out as the time is running down. Second offensive board for Ohio today. Buffalo only has one, but frankly, that's because they're not missing.
The foul on Skogman. My apologies for the wrong pronunciation earlier. Skogman on the foul for Buffalo.
They've gotten foul money on Skogman, Fagan, some guys who you don't normally get points from earlier at all.
So it's 33-15, and we talked about the first game. These two teams were 14 for 46 combined from 3. Ohio hit 6. Buffalo hit 8. Ohio had a double-digit lead in the first half, and then the Bulls came roaring back. Graves for 3, and Preston on the rebound. It was a Dwight Wilson bucket at the end and a defensive stand. Sears misses the 3 strong, but the back tap swat by Preston. So an assist on the rebound.
I think you're going to see a good bit of this lineup for Ohio. Sears and Preston together just to move the ball around and get it up court.
Active hands by Buffalo. Preston lost it. Bust out Graves for a 2-hand. Exuberant rim rock, and Buffalo is up by 20 on Ohio in the first half.
First make for Graves. He's starting to get well from the field, but turnover 11. Ohio's got to steady the ship on that.
Into the post, McDay. A little bit too much extra there. And the Bulls busting the Bobcats, and everything's going down for Buffalo. Fagan with the 3. That's 5 first-half threes, and Buffalo's up by 23.
Yep, winning and adding on with the second unit right now are the Bulls.
Another strip steal, and look out here. Graves, 360 miss. Kenny Battle was the first one ever to do a 360 in a college game from Northern Illinois and Illinois, and that nearly went down. McDay into the post, had to be there, and it is from Ohio's perspective. And all that work to get down by 21.
Yep, trade. Buffalo goes down there, misses a big dunk, and Ohio converts it for a 2+1, comes down and gets the foul from Skogman. But what a run by Buffalo.
A double-digit lead is rare on the road in this league, but to be up by 20
And their offense, it looks like what Ohio rolled out the other day, already 7, 8 scores for Buffalo in the book.
It is now at 20. As you see Ben Roderick come back in, he started well for the Cats.
Buffalo can put up points in this league faster than anybody. Akron can do it 3 at a time, but if Buffalo's controlling tempo and you are turning the ball over, Buffalo can move this thing 15 in a hurry. 2
of the last 3 games between these two teams have been tight. Segou right wing 3. Rondo misses that. Ronaldo, Rondo, Segou. Preston all the way into the post. Skogman stayed there. And Ohio down by 18. And Jim Heitzel wants to stop it before the Bobcats get any closer. By 13 at halftime then.
All right, look at that other game. You said, what, 11 steals in game for Buffalo. They already have 8.
Sylvester Obanda in the stands.
Looking good.
Former Bobcat, Georgia Tech transfer, and a graduate program here. Glad he's in the building today. Skogman on the ball fake. Active hands Ohio, but it ends up with Buffalo. Blocked by Vanderplas, and then reeled back in. Fagan couldn't do it. Here's Sears. Patrolling the paint, look away, Roderick 3. Bang for Ben Roderick. 38-23, mini run here for the Bobcats.
Yeah, Ohio strong out of the turnover and then out of the timeout. 8-0 for Ohio after Jim Weitzel tried to stop it and slow down the problem.
More people than there have been in this building during this whole season. And there is some noise here with Ohio down by 15. Imbala has 12. Vanderplas on the rebound.
A little bit of a block, and Imbala goes down. Can Ohio get an odd man rush going?
Preston on the right side, 3. Bang for Jason Preston, an 11-0 run. That's Ohio's second made 3. And just like that, this is down to a dozen.
Punch and counter punch, the most efficient offense in the league, finally strung a few together.
Backdoor Imbala, nice work Wilson, but he fouled, and it's an and one, and Ohio's bench doesn't like that call at all. Imbala has 14 as we go to the under 4.
Just the first foul on Wilson, but Imbala, big part of getting this thing down the court for Ohio. 11-0 run, right up to that, back in this thing, down 14.
Williams.
And Imbala expressive with the officials. Ohio coaches think he's getting maybe a hair beaky. Heard some of that in the break.
He prepped in Connecticut. So again, Detroit to France. He played on the under-17 national team in France and the under-18 team there nationally. And found a home in Buffalo after a stop in Lubbock. And it's back to 15 now for the Bulls. Roderick tries for another one. But Sears soars through for the board. Every possession here is critical, and the Cats find another triple.
Picking up their third shot, 11 attempts for Ohio. That's finally starting to pick up. Buffalo's usually not 5 of 8 at this point in a game from 3 either.
Preston has 8, second made 3, but right back to Imbala, and he is Mr. Reliable. He has 15. Now 17 points in the first half.
And he stayed on the floor. Just 1 foul for him, 1 foul for BVP.
Buffalo in the right spot. Bust out down the floor. Nathan Williams misses, but there's an O board for Imbala, and oh my, he has 19 in the first half on 8 of 10 shooting. It's back to 16.
Somehow that's only his second board, but I guess because he's not missing. Great game for Imbala in just 13 minutes.
I would imagine that so many fans of this league really enjoy watching him play.
No one else has anyone like him.
Sears tries to answer, and he bangs down the 3. His first point of this ball game. That's his 11th 3 this year. He's had 7 double-figure games. He had 20 against Toledo, 21 against Western Michigan. Double figures in 4 of the last 5. Rondo Segou, kick out Graves. Buffalo up by 13, Buffalo up 15. They're just getting into their lanes, Rob, and playing really well in space.
And the thing is, it's been mostly through their bigs and their backups. They've gotten very little out of Segu and Graves early on in this game for being top scorers. Williams as well.
This is a big 2 minutes and another rip away by the Bulls. Dominant defense here to go along with accurate offense. Bertram to tip it in.
Limited minutes and a quick O board there for Buffalo. 14 Ohio turnovers. You have a hard time winning with 14 in a game, let alone in a half right now.
Ohio is 7th in the country in assist to turnover ratio. And today, 14, Roderick corner-right 3. Strong. Segu out and down the floor.
And Buffalo can actually chill out the pace. Obviously happy with this lead. No need to hurry up.
Segu, the sixth man in the league in the year last year. 8 points per game. And even when balls are deflected, it ends up with Buffalo, but this time out of bounds as Janathan Williams couldn't find it.
That's really the terrifying thing, Russ. Buffalo has done this without much from Graves or Williams. They're combined 3 of 13 at Segu, 3 of 14 combined for those 3 starters. This has been front court play.
Jeff Bowles and this coaching staff for Ohio could put out a textbook or an instructional tape on how to coach out of a COVID pause. But running into a really athletic and super scoring Bulls squad today.
Yeah, it's been played at Buffalo's tempo. Ohio has not held on to the ball well enough for big stretches this first half.
Buffalo shooting 59%, Ohio 42%. But too many possessions given away. From Ohio's perspective, they would like to find something, anything here on these last couple of offensive possessions. End of the timer, McDay. Nope. Here comes Mbala. 19 points and gives it up to Rondo Segu. Turns the corner, finds a friend at the timeline. Ends up with Graves, breaks down Vanderplas to the rim for a banker, counted and a foul. And that is what Buffalo has done all half long. Up by 19, they're finding everything.
Yep, busted play, almost the cause their own turnover back out to the half-court line. Graves gets it back, and Granger's not really protected in there, too far under, and he tries to get an easy 2 + 1, coming up for the senior Graves.
Javon Graves. And when you're so athletic, combine that with confidence and patience, you aren't rushed when you get in the lane and there's a little bit of congestion.
No, he's a really patient player, really has gotten more patient. I wish, honestly, they featured him more in this offense. Feels like an afterthought sometimes, and he's so good.
Had 18 against Ohio in the Nickel City in the first meeting, 15 in their win over Central Michigan a couple of days ago. Now again, these two teams are playing a lot of games in a short amount of time, but this is a 3-game week for Buffalo too, with travel. And they look fresh, but they didn't have to come out of a 21-day COVID pause. Sears trying to find something here, and that's the end of the first half. Bully ball.
Against the fastest team in the league. Look, for Ohio, though, he was already trying to get breaks for Preston earlier in this game. He's already trying to manage this roster, knowing we're in the middle of 5 games in 11 days, and you're already through to Cleveland, but you don't want to get off the gas this much.
Ohio was not stressed against Akron or Eastern Michigan out of the 21-day COVID pause. Super stressed here, and the Bulls up by 20, and they get the ball to start off half number 2.
The big number, Ohio's okay on the glass, okay a lot of places. 14 first half turnovers to 6 for Buffalo. That's the breaker.
Janathan Williams in the first half had 4. Double teamed in the post. Ends out for Rondo Segu. Trying to orchestrate some contact, and a rare miss for Mbala. He's now 8 for 11 from the field.
Virtually all their points have come front court. Their guards have gotten very little done in that first half, till Graves had a couple baskets late.
You mentioned Ohio's through to Cleveland already. Buffalo will be there too. Ohio the 3 right now in the league. Buffalo the 5. With both teams 2 games next week. Vanderplas misses the 3, and Ohio's 4 of 14 from beyond the long line now.
Online, just long.
Scoop into Hartnett, who stepped on the baseline, and a turnover.
Might have gotten a little bump, a little hip check from BVP on the brush by there, but Ohio will get possession.
And when Buffalo shot the ball so well in the first half, there just weren't enough possessions for them to turn it over. That's 7 on the ball game now. Ohio in a rare spot here. Down big at the convo. McDay into the paint. Extra pass. Wilson had to pump it around an on-charging defender, but taps it back in. That looked like it was on the rim, but play on. Cats down by 18.
Yep, own board, board, but Buffalo had backed out, so Wilson could do whatever he wanted with that one and puts it back.
Second in the country in field goal percentage.
He's had some real Gary Trent from two kind of nights, a lot of 80% from two sort of nights, 3 of 6 today.
In the winning streak, he now has 94 points. Into Janathan Williams. Short, nice job in the paint defensively by Roderick.
Janathan Williams is 1 of 8 shooting the ball. Someone gets a gold star for that after this game, win or lose for Ohio.
Preston stops on a dime and floats it in. He's got 10 now. He had 12 assists last time out. That was just the second game this year that he was in single digits. Javon Graves ripped away by McDay, and here come the Cats down the floor. Roderick with a step through and a finish. He's got 11. 2 in double figures for Ohio now, and more havoc defensively, and look at this pace. Roderick appears to be fouled. He was. And Ohio's coming out to start off half 2 on fire.
Consecutive baskets, consecutive forced turnovers, and Ohio gets the ball, gets into transition, and beats Buffalo down in their own game. You're seeing hard work. London McDay working against his high school teammate, Javon Graves.
St. Vincent, St. Mary in Akron. A big part of this year, too, has been the active benches, and both of these benches have been boisterous today for good reason. Roderick threw it away. Nice job to pick the route for Hartnett, who's been awesome as a starter for Buffalo. Got away with the hop. Williams decks it on McDay, floats it up and finishes. Janathan Williams is a junior, averaging 18 points per game. He's got another year. Everybody does, but can you imagine him as a senior?
You're going to have some guys put up huge career numbers that started 4 and 5 years.
What a pass. Everything but the finish, as Vanderplas got it into Preston, and Wilson stressed there, had to get it up, couldn't hit.
They're doing a good job denying the ball from Wilson with the faster hard net. You notice he's not usually on Mbala. They've got hard net on Wilson.
Buffalo's first steps are so quick, and that ends up with a 3 for Javon Graves.
10.7 assists, 20 minutes for the senior.
So all of that work for Ohio, and still just 1 point better than at halftime.
Not cutting into it enough, not fast enough. You're playing your heart out, you're getting good effort, but you're not moving the number enough.
We haven't seen a lot of point touches for Wilson in this winning streak for Ohio. Out high to set up some room. Preston couldn't finish. And Buffalo trying to get to Blackjack 21 with the lead again. Williams lost it as he stepped through. Out to Segu. Lets Roderick fly by. And there's a bucket to get it to Blackjack 21 for Buffalo. 59-38.
Mid-range first bucket of the game for Segu, who hasn't really taken many shots today. Haven't needed him.
Segu averages 13 points per game. He's from Orlando as well. Preston, an Orlando product, to McDay. That's his spot, but he's short. You wonder about the legs now, shooting-wise, for Ohio.
Yeah, big looping run by Preston. Draws coverage from 3. Open shot. Ohio can't knock it down.
Segu lets her fly. A bit of a heat check there and a rebound for Wilson. Ohio had great effort out of the start of this second half. And Buffalo adding to the lead. Vanderplas couldn't finish. Ohio's had to work so hard in all spots to get shots up.
Yep, that time up and over Hartnett could not get it to drop down.
Great cut by Graves for a two-hand chin-up rim rock. And Buffalo is blowing out the Bobcats in their own barn.
Graves having a great time. Another dunk there. Had the big missed one earlier, but he's knocking him through.
9-6 to start off half 2. Graves, an all-MAC type performer, has 12. Ohio looks a little bit sluggish, and there you see with the finish. Just not there for Wilson.
Back rim long.
Active hands, though. Bobcats still battling, and Glenn Buddy Mayborg says that's Buffalo ball as we get to the under 16 immediate timeout.
Yeah, Ben Roderick gets their first. Ohio effort still there, but shots just not dropping. Seguin makes a good find. Graves there. Graves from Akron St. Vincent St. Mary, showing up his high school teammate, London McDay.
2018, Buffalo beat Arizona in Boise by 21, lost to Kentucky in the second round of the NCAA tournament. Jeff Bowles trying to get the Bobcats ready for a run in Cleveland, too. Both these teams will be there. Buffalo adding to the lead, up 9-6 in half two, up 61 to 38.
9-0 the run over the last 3 minutes or so.
Seguin has two. Looks for more, but he palmed the ball first. In the preseason coaches poll, it was Buffalo picked fourth, Toledo picked sixth, Ohio was picked second, as you see Jim Weitzel there. Just a basketball guy, Jim Weitzel, and universally liked around the college basketball community. Sears misses the three. Anybody that spent 2 decades of college coaching in the Chicagoland area, I like. Graves to Seguin.
He's managed to be a big part of this thing and then gets this job. I'm glad to see him get it and be continuity here in this program.
Williams runs over Miles Brown. It's a charge.
Offensive foul, just the 11th turnover on Buffalo. At least the turnovers are stopped in Ohio. Just one here in this second half, but the shots aren't dropping now.
14 at halftime, as you see Miles Brown. He's always willing to make a muscular play on both sides of the floor. Another note on Weitzel, the success that Loyola Chicago's having now, they really elevated their expectations after a 21-win season that Weitzel coached there in 2006-2007. Porter Moser and the Ramblers are rolling now. They'll be in the tournament again this year. And there's Ben Roderick with a bucket to get it down to 21 again.
And Ohio's gotten small like they did the other night. All three essentially point guards on the floor for Ohio: Preston and Brown and Sears.
Watch the Ramblers later on against Southern Illinois.
How'd their big guy do last night? He get hurt or did he get back in that game?
Double cramps.
Oh, okay. I saw him go down, but I was watching like 6 different games.
Hartnett. Oh, is that a hard take in the lane for a banker? He used all of his steps.
Nice piece. Been a lot of use defensively against Wilson for Ohio tonight.
Ohio trying to steady the ship, trying to get back into the game. That was a big punch they threw to start off half two, and the legs to finish on shots. That's going to be a question down the stretch here.
Buffalo's gotten good minutes out of that second unit. Fagan out there on the floor again. He contributed first half. There's Seguin.
Oh, Seguin. So good for Buffalo. 25-point lead now.
And the guards finally starting to come in for them in the second half.
Ohio's had to work so hard to get free space, cutting and passing. Vanderplas three. That's not easy to do when you've had to work so hard to free up some room.
Well, Buffalo's got good length in the half-court defense.
Buffalo's just having fun now. Trayvon Fagan has fun. It's 27 group, and that was a series of years that's been talked about at length if folks are talking about Bobcat basketball. And there have been a lot of storylines this season, too, in a COVID-complicated campaign. Ohio trying to muster up something here down the stretch, down 27. Preston today has 10, still probing, and London McDay for the mid-range. In a tough game for Ohio, McDay has showed some strength. He's got 7 now.
Yep, 2 of 8 now, 3 free throws made, just stressed. Buffalo's defense is stressing everybody in the half court. Ohio's not getting easy looks from 3 or 2.
Buffalo 7 of 10 from the field in the second half, shooting 62% all told in the ball game. Seguin is slippery. Can't finish, but there's Mbala. He's got 21.
Just gets on his tippy toes, gets 21 and 7. And again, he starts, but he's not a 35-40 minute guy. He does this in 25 a game.
One of my favorite players to watch in this league is Josh Mbala. McDay trying to find some room. Everything's just been so congested. Ends up with McDay. Back to Preston, got a fire. Skipped out of there. And in the winning streak, those are the shots that have fallen.
Yep, again, he's had a vanilla day shooting, 4 of 9 so far, 5 assists, but also 5 turns. His Buffalo's really gotten in his grill.
At Kent State on Tuesday for Buffalo, and then Bowling Green to finish. I'm sorry, it is Akron on Tuesday, and Kent State to finish on Friday. And Fagan continues to add points in a flurry. It's back to 29 now. Blocking foul and one. London McDay still playing hard here down the stretch.
Yep, creating contact going right out the basket and can't just hard net too far under there, I believe. Again, McDay's got to create some action. This game, I thought this game might be played more at the line with the pace, but this crew has let the guys honestly play. No one's had serious foul trouble today.
This is the under 12 media timeout. And Buffalo's on top 7, going up, as Ohio's 15 is at the line to try to cap off a three-point play.
Buffalo on a 100-point pace right now. Ooh.
McDay averaged 8 and change last year per game. Ohio is now a perfect 7 for 7 from the foul stripe. There have only been 14 free throws in what's been a physical sort of game.
Yep, third Ohio player in double figures. Problem is Buffalo got 8 scorers in the first half, now 9 in that scorebook.
Does Ohio have a kick here to make it interesting? Nickelberry might have been fouled, but he got it right back. And teams that are rolling, they seem to get the 50-50 balls to get right back to it. And Nickelberry, he's got a pretty high ceiling, potentially in a pro career at home or abroad. Memphis transfer. Roderick misses the 3. Mbala on the rebound. He's 1 board away from his 7th double-double this year.
Yep, he's looking good, and Nickelberry nearly perfect. 5 of 6 shooting the ball for 11.
If I were Mbala, I would have pulled from that range with his ball club up 73-45, but he decks it and gets fouled.
He hasn't made 3 today, and I understand in this era, every 6'12" person thinks they're an athletic swingman and should be shooting the ball face, but he is so good in this league down low.
Mbala on the season now is 3 of 16 from 3. He'll go to the line and double-double candidate every night out.
And again, fouls have not been the issue. That's what we said coming into this night. Will Wilson and BVP and Mbala stay on the floor to pin the whistle. And the whistle you've gotten has been let them play today, and that's fine.
Buffalo is on top by 30 here in Southeast Ohio. It was a 20-point halftime lead. And now from Ohio's perspective, with 2 key road games next week, with Cleveland already secured, how do you manage the minutes here down the stretch? Wilson, that's a big paw to be able to bat that back in.
One hand and a redirect, 8 for Wilson. Just have not gotten him enough touches or enough touches where he's not fronted by a faster man.
He averages 15 and a half a game, just under 7 rebounds a contest. Rock Bertram in, and he can't finish. Mbala tried to get that rebound, lost it, and it will stay on this side of the floor.
Well, no baskets, but a couple consecutive offensive boards for Buffalo, and they are just bigger and have more pop right now off that convo floor.
Winners of 5 of the last 6, Buffalo. Ohio winners of 6 in a row. And every Bull that's played today has had big-time motor, big-time energy, and big-time success. And the time ticking away here on what is game number 20 for the Bobcats.
Ball looking for O-board tip dunk on that one, just could not finish and fumbled it out of bounds and had it redirected.
Now, Buffalo's had
about 4 chances down here.
Some games this year where they've absolutely just blown away the opposition. Ohio still working hard to its credit. There was a game in Oxford to start off Mid-American Conference play where Buffalo just blew out the Red Hawks. When they piece it together, they are really good. Nickelberry ran over Roderick, but a foul on Ben Roderick on the block.
Well, Buffalo's high variance, and what that means is when they really get it going, they can score 100. That doesn't surprise you at all. Generally, they want to play at 80. When they've scored 80, they've won almost every game this season. But they can explode on you in a hurry, and Lord forbid if they were actually hitting some threes. They're 6 of 10. But that's not a very high volume 3-point shooting day in this era.
Nickelberry to the line. Senior. Junior college transfer. There are a number of transfers on this ball club, but you see a freshman come in, and Skogman.
You've got guys here from Cincinnati, Coastal Carolina, obviously Texas Tech. We've talked about a bunch. You've got a lot of guys from a lot of different places, but also some good locals. I mean, there's not a ton of high-level basketball in Western New York. When those guys are there, they've gotten them to a great extent.
Saw Rife and Miguel check in for the Bobcats. He had 8 against Akron. Junior college transfer, gets it mid-post left. As you would imagine, Ohio will play some combinations to give some guys some rest here down the stretch. Good ball movement for Ryfin Miguel, a 3.
Looked pretty good off the hand, and he's been able to hit a few of those in spurts. Minutes up.
Cutting Graves, lost the ball, and Roderick picks it up now. That's a pretty float and finish for Ben Roderick. He's got 15, and only 3 of those points are from beyond the long line, which is another layer to his game.
Yep, plus over 50% shooting the ball today, 7 of 13. Good game. The only Ohio player with really any foul trouble as well.
Skogman has a good release. That's just a little short.
Good bit short, and Buffalo out there running some twos. And again, at what point do you just pull back and say we need to rest some guys, whether you're up or down in this game, knowing you have 2 more games coming in less than a week?
Preston tried to float and finish, couldn't. Nickelberry comes up with it and breaks it down the floor. Credit to Ben Roderick, still trying to get back defensively, and that gets us to the under 8 immediate timeout. Bulls plus 7,000-point scores in Ohio University men's basketball history, and Ben Vanderplas was honored prior to the game.
Yep, got the signed ball. He's been just a great guy to have around. Great student. What are we talking about? And a guy who's made shots. He's played inside when this team's been smaller. He's played outside and more catch and shoot. Can do pretty much anything 2 through 5, 3 through 5 in this league.
Jason Preston is now at 949 points, so 51 away from 1,000. Dwight Wilson will get to 1,000 points as well. Today, Vanderplas 3 points, 0 of 4 from the field. Rondo Segu with a step back, crawled out, and a rebound for Miles Brown. And I'd like to honestly know what the legs really feel like for the Bobcats. Again, 21-day COVID game pause, and now 3 games in this week back. That has to play a part in what's happened today, but take nothing away from Buffalo. They would have beaten a whole lot of teams today as Ryfin Miguel works hard.
Well, conditioning is hard when you're out for that 3 weeks. And again, the problem here is recovery. You haven't had a situation come and you've done something super active and had to come back and do it twice again in effectively a 4 or 5 day span. And maybe that's the issue. It'll be cold tub time. It'll be PT time. It'll be recovery time for this Ohio squad. But everyone's playing this tight stack schedule over the last week or 2.
Fagan with a beautiful wraparound bouncer to Hartnett, who camped out in that lane. And him in the starting lineup has been a big part of this for Buffalo.
It's good energy. He was great fronting and defending Wilson, but offensively he's more in play. He feels, I think, more at home in this one. They've been using him regularly.
He's 3 for 3 today. Vanderplas misses that 3. And so in the starting lineup now for Hartnett, he is 23 for 24 from the field.
Yeah, and that's basically a Wilson-esque number. It's pretty good.
Segu, slingshot, extra pass Fagan. Miles Brown on the rebound.
And that was how you knew everything was going Buffalo's way early. And this was when Fagan and Skogman and those guys had points early in this game where found money.
Pocket pass for Ryfin Miguel. Nice work of the 2-man game from Miles Brown.
And again, you go to Cleveland, have to play effectively up to 3 games pretty quickly. Guys like Miguel, guys down that bench of hair are going to be important, just getting through some minutes.
Bulls plus 5 in the second half, on top by 25 here. Nickelberry hangs and scores. And every Bull, it seems, can play through contact no matter where the contact is.
Well, they've always looked tough. If you take all the teams in the league getting off the bus, they still probably look the best getting off the bus, the biggest.
Vanderplas into the post, stripped away by Fagan. And it appears that both sides are going to use the reserves a little bit.
Bertram, Savion Gallion in there for Buffalo. Gallion will probably run the squad. For Ohio, Jalen White gets involved. Sam Towns in the game. He's been unavailable the last couple, I believe.
White is a dead-eye shooter.
Not afraid.
Miguel, nice pass. There's White on cue. Missed that, but Sears gets the O board.
Wow.
That is a pretty finish on a floater in the paint. I was also thinking there had to be some sort of watershed moment for the Bobcats, multiple of them, to say, you know what? Gold shoes towards the finish.
Couple guys, yep. Sears out there with him. Brown. Fashion is important. You got to feel good about yourself.
See how Ohio finishes this. Brown fouled on the drive.
Yeah, Gallion gets him on the floor. Like Gallion when we first saw him, DC area kid. But Segu's coming here and kind of taking over the thing as the lead guard, the little man in the guard lineup.
We'll see Sam Towns into the ball game. He was out after the game, as you see Jalen White right there. But Towns, who didn't play last time out in the win over Eastern Michigan, took a little longer on the COVID contact tracing pause to get back in. There's Sam. He was working on things after the game the other day, getting more shots up. He's got a nice ceiling, athletic, long. Ryfin Miguel, that's a strong take into the paint.
That's fine. He's excited. He's going to use these minutes and get better.
Buffalo, they're down a man too. Keyshawn Bruton not playing today, the Coastal Carolina transfer. A hand injury. But they haven't missed him much.
Another great shooter. That would give him a little more of a three-point flavor on this squad when he's healthy.
Inside out for Williams.
Jonathan Williams has not had a great day. 2 of 10. Probably one of the only things not working right for Buffalo today.
2 of 10 and a key cog, and still on top by 23 on the road. But he makes up with it on the defensive end. Long arm to block it.
Odd man rush if they notice.
Gallion for 3. Skogman on the rebound. He's got a big-time upside for Buffalo. How many seconds can someone have it in the paint, but a whole lot of pieces there for another bucket for Buffalo.
Yep, just keep cycling big guys by him, and eventually he'll hand it off.
And this is the under 4 media timeout. And they'll use the time to instruct, but there's not much more that can be said. Status check on the standings. And this is prior to some results from today.
Yep, so Buffalo will move to 10-5, Ohio to 9-6, Ball State a winner over Central, they'll be 7-8, and Eastern Michigan, what is this, a 34-point win over Northern? Okay.
Kent State and Miami, and Western Michigan and Toledo coming up. Jalen White out of the timeout, floats it in, count it, and a foul.
He's aggressive on the take. He wants the ball. He's not scared to shoot it, period. Long. You need some length on defense. We saw some early stuff this season out of he and Towns in the pre-conference, so that length can help.
In the NCAA net rankings, Toledo has a 64 figure next to their game, and there's some congestion around the 100 mark. There are 4 teams that are densely populated from the MAC. Buffalo 93, Akron 94, Ohio 95, Kent State 99. So 5 in the top 100. But Toledo's resume, even in a soft bubble year, it is not going to be up to par for at-large consideration, it would appear.
Yep, all in the same zip code, so to speak, in the Kim Palm rankings, pretty similar. Brown with the foul, and Skoglund there down low. But yeah, it's been a weird year scheduling-wise. So many teams have missed or had to miss good games in the pre-con that could have boosted their schedule. And Kent's dealing without their point guard. Really a serious injury move down the stretch for them has changed the way they look on the floor.
Yeah. Also, you have to wonder about their interest level, game in and game out. They looked like they didn't care all that much at Ball State the other day. We'll see today. When Danny Pippen is engaged, he is a force. Bertram misses that hook.
Mercurial Danny Pippen.
There are 4 teams at or around 285 and down in the MAC. Michigan, Schools, and Northern Illinois. Which
the directions. If you have a direction in your name, it has not been your year in the MAC.
Drags down things. Is that a finish? Just give it to him.
Come on.
It is down to a 22-point lead.
Yep, points for Miles Brown there.
20-point lead.
Yeah. 9 scores now for Ohio. Buffalo, I believe, with 9 scores, but they got there very, very quickly in the first half.
This is what the deficit was for Ohio at halftime, and Jeff Bowles still coaching. Next week, a big week with 2 road games for Ohio against teams they want to pay back. Bowling Green got them close here in Athens. Kent State wasn't close at all. That was full-on domination by the Golden Flashes. Buffalo will get to the line on a blocking foul.
Getting in there to the basket, Bivens, some of his first action. Bivens in there, Sala in there for Buffalo, some new faces. We talked about that, yeah, so what, in the MAC, in the East, we've gotten to play everyone twice, or will have next week, assuming everything works out, except for Miami. The second game in Miami is what Ohio's going to miss in the schedule matrix.
Which will be the first time in the history of the MAC that Ohio and Miami won't play in Oxford. Bivens, a senior from Atlanta, Georgia, at the line here. Buffalo had 6 games postponed or canceled because of COVID. Ohio had 7.
Buffalo had one of the exciting pre-conference games. That Syracuse game, they played very tough there. Their annual head-scratcher loss to Army, beat Towson. But in league, they've been really, really good.
Well, they went to overtime with Syracuse. Sears got away with the walk, but they just say, play on. Still important minutes for the guys on the floor here in the white uniforms. Sears is open for 3.
A little bit long there, and Buffalo's just so good at rebounding the ball. Their size, their length is obviously they mix different players, but it's basically the tallest team in the league in terms of the guys who get regular service, regular minutes.
It is hard to believe that this is the final home game of the year, and that's a really pure Savion Gallion shot. So Ohio will finish this home season at 8-3. Buffalo last year lost in the first round of the MAC tournament to Miami at home, so they weren't heading to Cleveland. They went 20-12 last season. They were the 5 seed, lost to the Red Hawks. I remember game tracking that one as we broadcasted here at the Convo, wondering what was up.
That was a little confusing to us, absolutely.
Buffalo's the last team to raise the trophy in Cleveland, and they're getting ready for another tournament run. That Buffalo bench has been active all day.
Well, they're used to success, they're supporting their teammates, and they've gotten contributions from deep down that bench from early on. This Buffalo group's gone to their bench more than I remember them doing in prior years, and you've not seen a significant drop-off. That's when they add to the lead. When you first saw the Fagan, Skogman group in the first half, it was a surprise, but that's when they added.
Jason Preston and Ben Vanderplas, rest will be important for them. As you see Mark Sears come off the floor.
This second half for Ohio, it's going to go in the book essentially even. Buffalo's 34-31 and a half. 1 second half turnover. 14 first half turnovers for Ohio when the game was effectively lost. Second half, they controlled the ball.
This game was essentially lost for Ohio, not necessarily in the first half, but at the start of the second half, when the Bobcats came back with the punch, Buffalo came right back, and that's where this thing got really sideways.
Ohio threw an 11-2 punch, forced a timeout, and then Buffalo came back with, I think, 3 straight makes, 7-0, and it never really closed closer than 20 after that point.
John Tenorowicz into the ballgame for Ohio. Gallion on the foul, and Tenorowicz has been in the middle of the hype huddle prior to games.
He's the broad thematic leader of that thing. He's in charge of that.
Ohio down by 23, and prior to every game, that last motivational huddle on the floor, he's been the one that's been barking out the instructions and the motivation. And that tells you about how gelled this group of green and white is.
It's a really good chemistry group. I know we haven't gotten to be around it the way we normally are. Obviously, you have less access to players on all teams this year when you're covering them. You don't get to have the casual talk in the end of open gym or at the hotel on the road. But this group really, really seems to like each other on the Ohio side. They really have gelled.
It's also important to remember, too, the players that come into games at this time, they are giving everything they've got in practice and are very natural and comfortable in practice. When you get on the floor in a game, it just changes the dynamic. If they had more run in games, they'd probably feel a little bit more comfortable and confident. Gallion's one of those. Misses the 3. It's going the other way.
Off of Bertram there. Miguel underneath. A couple more possessions left in this one.
So Ohio will be 13-7 now. The winning streak will end at 6. Buffalo 6 wins in the last 7 games, and there's nobody in this league that wants to play them in tournament time.
They played an amazing first half and just held it in place in the second.
It will be interesting to see Ohio's response next week on the road against 2 teams they were not happy they lost to. The Bowling Green game, of course, really close, and that was decided at the foul stripe. Kent State just clocked the Cats.
Yeah, Kent State was on another planet that day, and as we said, without their guard, without Nuga, they're a little different looking team right now. And again, what mood will Danny Pippen get out of bed in?
Towns stripped on the way up, and a foul on Buffalo.
Sala's in there, one of their deep bench guys from the Bay Area.
And Sam Towns will go to the foul line for Ohio. Rest will be important for the Cats. And 2 night games next week, which is pretty rare this year. We've gotten accustomed to those afternoon games.
Yeah, this is the 3rd straight matinee for this Bobcat Club, 2 p.m., 2 p.m., 2 p.m. this week.
Are there soap operas anymore?
I think Another World used to be on it too, so I don't know what we're blocking out, so to speak. I'm not sure what they offer us now in that hour.
The Young and the Restless?
Wow.
I'm trying to figure out how to kill that time after a workout.
I really miss Santa Barbara. That was at 3, and that's been phased out for a while. That was a good show.
One Life to Live was another one. Here, Buffalo living a good life on the road. And credit to Jim Weitzel and that staff. They are positioning the pieces well for a run at the end of the season. And they would have beaten a lot of teams in this league, in the country, the way that they worked today. Cats just kind of ran out of gas, and the winning streak ends at 6. And both teams, nothing really going on here. They'll head to the locker rooms, and this is done as Ohio loses